Hey everyone, welcome back to another vlog. So in this vlog, I'm going to give you a little bit of a life update, but also just fill you in on something pretty intense that's been happening. And this is the first time my ancestors and I have really disagreed really hard on a thing. It's like, I don't know, maybe our first fight or something. And so I'm going to describe it here. I felt inspired to make this vlog because sometimes people think that when their spirits or their protectors ask them to do something or encourage them to do something, that there's just this automatic yes, that you have to do it. And what I've been going through over the last week is just really a lot of diplomacy with my ancestors and kind of listening to them and hearing them, but also disagreeing about what I want to do. So anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep on watching. So last week I got laid off of my corporate job and I was totally shocked. As you know, if you've been watching this channel, I've also been ramping up the number of sessions I'm doing. I'm completing certification for my ancestral lineage healing practitioner training this month, and the timing of everything was just like so coincidental. Like there was so much synchronicity, not only because I got laid off from my job the week that I actually completed my session requirement for my certification, but also literally the half hour that I was getting laid off, my husband also got a promotion. Anyway, it was just it was bananas. And I have been thinking for quite a while on when I am going to make a switch into doing ancestral healing / death doula work / psychopomp shamanic energy work my full-time gig. And last summer when I dropped in with my ancestors about it, we decided on like a 3-year timeline. So I'm like 1 year into this 3-year timeline. Then all this happened last week where I was like laid off and Phil got a promotion and my certification requirements were complete. And I was like, is this it? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Are we moving up the timeline? Am I going into full-time healing arts mode right now? And my ancestors were like, yes, 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 you can do it. Go for it, go for it, go for it. And while that sounds like super exciting to me, and that is actually what I would want to do, it's really hard because, you know, me and my husband are at a really expensive time in our lives because we have 2 little kids. And, you know, little kids require care, daycare, have tons of hobbies. I mean, mostly it's the daytime care. It's expensive. It's like thousands of dollars per month. It's just not the right season of our life to make a choice that's not really solidly based in pragmatism. So for 5 full days, I was going back and forth between, should I look for another job that's flexible, that would allow me the same kind of benefits as my old job, or should I just try to do healing arts full time and see what comes of it? Basically, my ancestors were saying to me, like, we want you to give it a try. Like, we can help make it a success, and you're never going to know until you try. And there's a ton of creativity. You have a ton of resources. You have a ton of skills. Like, just go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. And I love that they want that for me. And I also believe that that is going to be my path and what I'm going to do. It's just this specific moment is not that moment. And basically what I said to them is like, I agree with you, I'm with you, and I want the timeline that we talked about. Like, I want 2 more years. I want 2 more years of like my corporate job, like my flexible corporate job, and doing ritual, of course. And then I will make that big transition into prioritizing healing arts, really at the forefront of my career. And I feel like they were saying to me, you know, like, oh, you're being stubborn, you're not seeing the possibilities. And it was just like relentless. It was like torturous, you know, and because the thing that's so hard about it is like, I agree with them and I see what they're saying. And I'm also just like, no, I'm not ready. I am not ready. And then there would be moments to be like, could I be ready? Like, should I just lean in? Like, in the end, I was like, no, I just really want to go back to the timeline that we talked about. And I was asking them, like, what I really need from you right now is to like get 100% behind me and like love me and support me and stop pressuring me, because I want what you're saying. It's not that I don't want it. It's just that this is not the time. I think that they still kind of see it their way, to be honest, but they are willing to support me over the next couple of years as I really plan this out thoughtfully and make it happen. And they asked for a couple of things. They asked for, number one, a vow that in 2 years, I am gonna do this. Like, corporate jobs can be so comfortable and so easeful, and you can kind of just get sucked up in them for like your whole life, which is cool for some people, like no shade. It's cool for some people. It's just not what they have in mind for me, nor what I have in mind for me. So they're like, we really want you committing to this path. We want you to commit to this timeline. And we want you to do it in like a big way, in like a way that you are stating your intention in front of all of us and all of your propitiating spirits, and just like, yeah, I'm doing this. I signed the dotted line, I commit. And sometimes people call that a vow. So I am going to be making that vow and doing that ritual in a real way that honors them. And another interesting thing that they talked about is a tattoo. They had been talking to me about this tattoo for a while. In the late winter, early spring, when I harmonized my 4 primary ancestral lineages, they came to me as snake. And that was the time when, I can link the video up here, that was the time when like the plan for my life became really clear about being a death worker and an ancestral healing practitioner, and being really a bridge between the living and the dead. And when those lineages harmonized, they came to me as snake. And there was the invitation to actually get a tattoo of snake as a rite of passage into really embodying my medicine and really embodying my purpose. And honestly, I had kind of forgotten about it. It's been like 6 months or something. And as we were having these conversations again, they were like, oh, and the snake tattoo. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's part of it. That's part of the commitment to the medicine. And maybe most importantly, what they wanted from me was this kind of like internal shift. This internal shift from being like, yes, I'm a wife and a mom, and I have this like really cool, awesome, flexible corporate job. And I also do this really cool ritual stuff and help people connect with their dead, all this other stuff. They really wanted me to have this internal shift of like, yes, I'm a wife and a mom, and I'm a ritualist. And my life purpose is to bridge the living and the dead, to help the dead to die better, more consciously, and to help the living connect with their dead. And to make money in the interim, I also do this corporate job thing. So can you kind of feel that internal shift is what they're asking? And I hear them saying that like they feel like I'm dragging my feet a little bit and I'm a little bit stubborn. And I think they're right. I think there is an aspect of me that's stubborn, comfortable, etc. And I am really trying to lean in to my medicine and my medicine's plan for me. I'm describing it now with a lot more perspective than I've had over the last week, but really truly over the last week it was kind of like torment, because I do sometimes get glimpses of the big plan for my life and my medicine, and I know that I need to lean into it fully. And while there might never be like an ideal time to do this, this is particularly an unideal time just because it's an expensive season in our life. So I really do want to go out of my way to kind of win my ancestors over, to make the vow, get the tattoo, do the internal shift, and be like, yes, I remember. This is feeling like a little bit more tender again, but it's like, yes, I remember. I know why I've come. I know the reason why I'm alive. And I'm not rejecting the plan. I'm not rejecting my medicine. I just need a couple more years to figure that plan out really fully so that I feel good about the transition. So yeah, I just wanted to share this in case it was helpful. You know, if you are working with your trusted powers, be it, you know, God, ancestors, propitiating spirits, whoever they are, always know that you can have dialogue and negotiate and argue or whatever it looks like with your powers. You don't ever just like need to agree or do whatever they say or whatever. If a power comes to you and is really persuasive or whatever, that's fine. But ultimately, you need to decide what you need to do. And like in my case, like I love my ancestors. I love my primary propitiating spirits, you know. Arguing with them is like worse than arguing with my spouse. It's like arguing with myself or something. Like it's like torment. Like is what I was saying. It was just like mental, intense inner conflict. And also, it's okay to have conflict sometimes. It's good to have boundaries. It's good to know what I need so that I can communicate that to my ancestors. And in the end, that is what they did. They got behind me. They supported me. Not like maybe like a little begrudgingly, like, okay, you could still do that though. But like in the end, they're like, no, we're here. We're going to support you. We're here for the 2-year plan. Like, let's do this. I hope that this helps somebody who's thinking about agency, autonomy, with relation to their spirits and trusted powers. You always have a choice, and don't be afraid to rock the boat a little bit and disagree with your trusted powers if it's not what you want. It's really important to have your own sense of what you want and what you need, and to be able to communicate that, just like in any relationship. We teach our kids to do that. My husband and I try to do it in a respectful way with each other. We do that with the powers that support and sustain our life. It's important, and it's not a skill that we learn all the time growing up. So I hope that this vlog was helpful for you. If you liked it, feel free to give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.